Hi, I'm Chef Rick Tarentino. Welcome to my kitchen. You might recognize me from shopping television or hit my website at www.chefricktarentino.com. I'm going to show you today how to cook a maple salmon asparagus spinach salad. It's great for even in the wintertime. You could cook this right in your kitchen. So we're going to do it right here in my skillet. We're going to glaze our salmon with a little maple and top it off with a little spinach salad and asparagus. It's a great recipe. Let's get started, shall we? Okay, we've got a great piece of salmon here, a little fillet, about 4 ounces. I'm going to season that, both sides, with a little salt and pepper. You want to make sure you get both sides. Let's add in our salmon to that nice hot pan. Now, as that cooks, I'm going to go ahead and start my maple glaze. So I got a nice little mixing bowl. I'm going to start off with some brown sugar, about a half a cup. Then I'm going to use about a half a cup of maple syrup. I like to use natural maple syrup. But if you're on a diet, you want to use a low sugar or a substitute, feel free. You're just going to break this up. Just let it keep melting together until it gets nice and thick. We don't want it too thin because we want it to glaze our salmon and not fall off. Light brown sugar is a little lumpy. This one will break down, but if it's a little too lumpy, you can always pop it in the microwave for about 30 seconds. That'll loosen it up a little bit. Then you're ready to go. Let's go back to our salmon. Now, about 3 or 4 minutes on each side. We're going to turn this one over. You'll see that beautiful brown occurring. Now, why we add the glaze now is so that it doesn't burn, because it's predominantly sugar. As we said, it's brown sugar and maple syrup, and we don't want it to burn in our pan. Go ahead and start the glazing process. Now, that sugar is just going to melt in on there. Go ahead and get some on the sides, too. Let it run down those sides. Now, at this point, you might want to turn your heat down just a bit. Sometimes I go down to low, maybe medium-low, as that glazes, because we don't want that sugar to burn right away. So you're going to let that cook for about another 3 or 4 minutes on that side. Wow, that's looking great. Let me give it another coat right here. See it getting nice and brown? That's looking really good. When we check our salmon for doneness, we also could check how firm it is. When I push on it, it's still a little tender, which means it's got a little bit more to go. But you'll notice down here where it's firm, that's done. Let's check the other side, see how she's browning. Okay, so now that one's nice and brown. As you can see in there, we got a little pink still. We're going to let that cook more. We're going to glaze this side now. That maple glaze smells so delicious. This is an absolute great fall recipe, too. If you're going apple picking and you're out in those maple farm areas where they grow apples and maple syrup, you grab some fresh maple syrup. And you could do this on the grill, too, but again, be careful with the heat. You don't want to cook it on too high heat because you'll just burn that sugar. Now, while that finishes, let's go back over to our kitchen and let's plate up our spinach and asparagus. Okay, I've got some great spinach leaves here, all washed and dried in my salad spinner. Sometimes if you see a long stem like that and you want to take it off, you can. I like to leave them on. I think a little extra roughage doesn't bother anybody in there. I have some asparagus here. I used canned today because I couldn't get fresh. And they're kind of soft, but you can go ahead and get fresh asparagus if you want, or you can use canned. Sometimes what I like to do is try to find some white asparagus, either fresh or canned. That makes a nice addition to this dish. And I'm going to grab my salmon and place it right on top. Let's put that on there like that. Then, in order to garnish it, I'm going to serve this with a little balsamic dressing. I have a little balsamic and herbs right here. Then a touch of the olive oil. Now that's a perfect dish. And that's how to make maple glazed salmon with asparagus spinach salad. I'm Chef Rick Tarentino. You can get this recipe and more at www.chefricktarentino.com.